Hi, my name is Jimmy Bias. All throughout my life I've studied real estate. I've been traveling through Lee County, Florida lately, and for those of you who know, Lee County, Florida is famous for all the Chinese drywall. You can look up the Chinese drywall on the internet and see how bad it is for people. But I was through Lee County, Florida approximately 20 years ago, several different times. I saw a lot of houses here. You're talking about empty houses, empty duplexes by the thousands and thousands of them. And then of course I've been going through Lee County again, and I see the same houses. But in my real estate research, I've noticed that Lee County is doing a lot of fraud. The government, Lee County, and this may be going on in other counties, in other states. I'm sure that most of you would not like to see a house on the internet or from a real estate agency that would be fraudulently lying to you, be telling you that the house was just built in 2009 or in 2007, whenever the house was actually built more than 20-30 years ago. Now, the people around here in Lee County, if you ask them about it, they deny it. Why would that be? Because most of them have houses that Lee County updated their houses. If you lived in a 40-50-year-old house or 20-30-year-old house, 30 years old house, and plus you had another one or maybe even some duplexes that you was wanting to sell, and Lee County said, look, these houses are kind of like just like new. We're going to update them and give them a new build date, just as if it is just built, to upgrade the economy. I mean, I'm not for sure what Lee County's excuse is. They could have lots of excuses. Like, for instance, whenever these houses was built 20-30 years ago, then they'd only probably cost like, around $20,000 to build them. And of course, Lee County charges their taxes according to the value of the house. And so that's why these houses, even whenever they're sitting vacant, all tore up and messed up, Lee County says, well, the rebuild value of that house today would be $250,000 or more. So that's what they tax you by, $250,000. Not that the economy, according to what they say, is so bad that the house isn't even worth $50,000 or $20,000, but according to the rebuild value, that way Lee County gets a lot of money from it. But what we will presume happened here is that throughout the years, because nobody wants to live here, not anybody really wants these houses due to all the Chinese drywall. Most of them people bought fraudulently because people lied to them. They were told they was good houses, but then they move in them and they or their children getting sick, or the electric don't work, the plumbing don't work, it's all black due to all this Chinese drywall and stuff. And so they move out, and of course they lose. A lot of people, from what we're to understand, lost lots and lots of money. But so then why would they want to pay $1,500, $2,000 or more dollars taxes every year on these houses that really aren't worth anything? They should really be tore down due to the poisonous, the hazardous waste of them. But so I would be pretty well guessing that Lee County acquired the majority of these houses and duplexes throughout the years. And then of course, rather than tearing them down because of all their hazardous waste, I would presume that they came up with, let's update them and say they was just built 2 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And then of course Lee County would possibly be using realtors who would go along with the lie, be using other investors who would go along with the lie, because see, that way they find it much more easier to say, look, this house was just built in 2007, this house was just built in 2005, or this house was built in 2009. It's a brand new house, hardly even been lived in, or hasn't been lived in at all, And so we're going to presume that that's what Lee County is doing. That way then they get the houses sold to other unsuspecting people. The other people then buy them, and then they're collecting all that tax money from those other people, rather than them, the tax government, having all these houses sitting around vacant, going bad. Then see, the tax government, the tax Lee County, Florida, then collects all that money by selling you this house, and paying their little realtors or their fraudulent sellers little commission fee, And so we're going to presume that's exactly what Lee County's up to and what they've been doing. And of course, other people who actually do own some of these houses or actually own some of these duplexes have been trying to sell them for 20 or more years and haven't been able to unload them on anybody. But so then Lee County proposing to them, hey, let's say that your house or your duplex was just built because it's still just like new. Then of course they would go along with it too, because they want to say, hey, this is a new house, this is a new duplex, it's worth a lot more, you know. And so that's why people don't talk about it. And because the economy's been so bad for so long, according to bad economy, I don't think it's ever been good or bad or good, but they just call it that throughout the news stations and TV stations. The government tells them, call it bad, they all call it bad. Call it good, they all call it good. And so that's basically what's going on here. So any of you news stations want to put forth some good investigating on this and show some of these houses. I know where some of them are. And then you can uncover this story if you like, if the government allows you to. And you know, it's really sad because then once these people buy these houses, they find out they got Chinese drywall, then they're getting sick, their kids getting sick. Then they're going to go to the realtor or the people they bought it from, if they're even around anymore. You know, they appear and disappear as they sell these houses sometimes still, due to being government people, you know. Then there's not going to be anybody that they can recoup their money from. Oh, this house has Chinese drywall. Well, we didn't know anything about it, so we didn't sell it to you fraudulently. It's the way they'll all be telling their lies. And of course, Lee County, that has these people selling these houses, will, hey, it don't have to do with us. Those houses actually belong to these other people, you know. As they put their little fake names and stuff on there too, along with the fake dates. So now you know, folks. Of course, I've saw things like this go on in other parts of the countries. In California, they use fraudulent people to, they'll take a house falling down with termites, and of course they'll still leave all those termite ate up boards inside of it. They'll tear off the wooden outsiding, and they'll put stucco on it to help hold the house all up, replace the roof, put in new cabinets, paint those walls really, really thick, put in new cabinets, you know, put in some new plastic windows so it all looks new. Of course, maybe they haven't thought about updating that house and calling it, this is a brand new house. I mean, it looks brand new, don't it? But there they may not have caught on that they could just lie and call them brand new houses to upgrade their economy by having new houses selling, upgrade the taxes that they collect by having it priced higher by calling it a new house rather than a remodeled house. And or a house that's falling down due to termites. It's just been remodeled and still falling apart due to termites, or with asbestos. So anyway, there in California and other places, of course they probably do that here too. We haven't uncovered that yet, but I presume so. They use what's called fake buyers, where the real estate people, they'll have somebody there and they'll say, oh, we sold this house for $50,000, we sold it for $100,000 a month later, we sold it for $150,000 to $200,000 2 or 3 months later. The economy's doing great, price is going up. You know, remember how they're saying the price is going up, the economy? You know, they have a lot of fake stuff going in there. And then they get a sucker in there, see? Because all those fake buyers, all they have to do is say, well, we don't have the money now. But then, of course, they don't show that on the paperwork. The person who says that they sold it just say, well, they backed out, you know. But it's still on records and everything. So then, of course, they get a sucker in there to buy this house for $350,000, and they rip that guy off because it's not even worth $50,000. So anyway, that's the way a lot of people are doing it. And this time's about up on this recording. We're going to try to get it on so that you can all see it. But look into any and all that. They all have their reasons. The people who own these houses want to sell them for more, although they're not worth it. And sucker all you people out there in the USA. That's all brought to you at this time from Lee County. We may be in other places to uncover fraudulent behavior by the government and their law-breaking people.